Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach Today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB and excited you're here this November 29th, 2021, episode number 4,434. It is a Monday and we got a good one planned for you. We got a great week. Can you believe we are in our final week, few days, and we're in December. This year is almost over. And what's so awesome about that is it gets us ready for 2022. My favorite year. It's going to be amazing. Why? It's double deuces, ends in 22. I know it's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be amazing. And so how do we do it? Well, we're going to start off by understanding this idea of what is time. We're going to get a little metaphysical today. We're going to talk about how does it fit within our planning and why is it so important that we understand what time is. Then we're going to finish tomorrow's the book study. We're going to finish Fix This Next. That will end the book for the month, and then I will have a new book for December for you here real soon. Been a great book. It fits right into our planning cycle and what we're doing. Very appreciative of it, and we're going to rock that. Wednesday, we're going to get into our planning month start. That's right. Wednesday is December 1st. Can you believe it? This year has just flown by. We're going to start getting the Get It Done Now plan together and then move to ILD. Thursday, of course, on the 2nd, I answer your questions. Plenty of those coming in. Friday, we're going to talk about the mission focus for 2022. That's right, 2022. Excited, ready for that year, and we're going to get everything starting to get organized this week. Saturday, getting your systems organized. And then Sunday, spiritual organizational ideas. So we are ready to get going, moving into our planning month. As you know, Get It Done Now is based on the engineering principles of plan, do, check, and act. We plan, we do, we check, and we act. And you are in the perfect place at the perfect time because now it's time to start the plan for the new year. And as we do that, we need to realize what time is. And if you've read my original book, Get Out of Neutral, you know, this is really what I talked about. It was like understanding what time was and recognizing what the past is and what the future is. And it's really important we do this because we start to realize the relativity of time, as Einstein taught us all those years ago. You realize that the past is gone. You know, we're here November 29th. All those other days are gone. It's not real anymore. I mean, yes, it happened, but it's what we remember in our mind. That's what it is. It's memory trace. It's electricity. It's the memory that we have. And my past is different than your past. And we could have the exact same past and it would be totally different. It would be the way that we perceive it. And that's important to understand. That's the past. And what about the future? Well, the future isn't existent yet. Yes, it's going to come, but it's this continuum of this moment, this continuum of the now. And that's what's so important when we understand the teachings, whether we go all the way back to the Course in Miracles, talking about the holy instant, or Eckhart Tolle and the power now, or Ram Dass, be here now. The idea is to understand this present moment and the importance of it. That's really what we are living in. And yes, the future is going to occur, but it'll be another moment like this. And the truth is the future has not occurred yet. And if you think I got to pay rent in 3 days and I don't have the money, well, that's not reality. The reality is you have today, right now, this moment to do something about it. Will that occur? Yes, but it'll be another moment like this. And that's a metaphysical kind of deep principle. And it's challenging for a lot of people to really sit back and think about that. But what happens is you will find that most people are caught up in the future or the past. That's the big issue. And that's why it's really important when it comes to our planning that we recognize what's happening in the relativity of time, that we recognize the power of when we have it and then utilize it in order to generate the ideas and the thoughts and the game plan that we're going to create. Because again, the past is electricity, it's perception, it's what's in your mind. The future is going to be another moment like this, but it will be a moment that you can get into. And the way we change that is by operating in this moment to really understand what it is we want our future moments to be like, right? Okay, so we've got to be patient. We've got to allow to live in the moment. We've got to be here. We got to be here now, as Ram Dass has told us, but we also have to be able to plan and execute. So it's a real good balancing act of being in the moment, but yet realizing that the future will come, but it will be another moment like this. And how do we make those moments, those experiences be amazing? And that's what we're working on. So when we start to ground ourselves in that, we can start planning. Now, here's the deal. You ever have an idea? You ever have an idea? It's like, wow, this is going to be a great idea. And you go to put it out in the world and it's already there. We've all done that before, right? The old reticular activation system that Tony Robbins taught us about years ago in his books. You know, when you go buy a car and you buy the car and you're so excited and you drive it off the lot, you didn't see any of them before you drove it off the lot, and then you start seeing them everywhere. That's this perception of idea. It's the perception that we have an idea that nobody else has. But the truth is, when ideas enter consciousness, again, talking about the relativity of time, it's not the future or the past, but now, and you have that idea is now in consciousness. So what that means is we've got to be able to move. We've got to be able to work within the framework of that idea, or it's going to be another one of those ideas that somebody else did and you didn't act on. So what I want you to get thinking about today is I want you to be thinking about the relativity of time, which could be a very deep concept for you if you've never really dove into this before. If you've heard it before, then you're like, yes, I get it, JB. I've been listening to you for years. I realize that the moment is now. We have to let go of the past. We have to learn from it, realize that it is perception, and we can actually change our perception of it. I recognize the fact that the future hasn't happened yet, but it will, but it'll be this continuum of the now. I get that. And now I realize we've got to be patient and we've got to be able to plan in the moment to be able to change those future moments. Okay. And now we're starting to have this conversation about if you have an idea or you have some intention or some motivation, then we've got to be able to act on that intent that comes. And that goes way back to Singer. That goes back to Wayne Dyer and the teachings they gave us, like in the power of intention or the surrender experiment, meaning something came to me, it's an idea, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to live it. The surrender experiment from Singer is a great example of that, or the pathway to surrender. His books, his 2 books that he wrote, that was basically the life that he lived. It was surrender to the ideas that come, put your energy into it, get excited about it, and plan to work within it. And so that's what we've got to do. Again, understanding the past and understanding the future and what we're doing here within our planning. So the past is what has been done. It's there in our brain. It's a perception, and we can learn from that. And really what we want to learn are these are the things that I don't want to do. These are the things that didn't bring enjoyment. These were the things that hurt me. I'm not going to do those again. These are the things that brought me pleasure. I remember I'm perceiving pleasure from them. These were good things. I want to do more of that in my life. And that's where we start to use the planning stages of the past and the future. And then what we got to do is we have got to ultimately get present. That is really key as we start to figure out our mission, which we're going to start talking about this week, and we start to delve in the Get It Done Now plan. In order for us to structure a proper plan, really get a plan in place, then what we've got to do is be able to step back, and we've got to really, really be able to become totally present and realize what is the most important things that I want to have happen for my life in this moment, not getting too far ahead of ourselves, not getting way ahead. Now, do I want you to have hairy, audacious goals? Yes. Do I want you to be at 10 times your business? Yes. Do I want you to have these big plans? Yes. I don't mind those. But we also got to recognize the fact of what's really important to you. You know, in our book, Fix This Next, this business hierarchy of needs or Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I love that concept because it's funny. I was listening to Grant Cardone, which a lot of people don't like, right? There's a lot of people like, oh, he's so hypey. And listen to Mike, in his book. Grant's going, you need bigger goals. You need to put 100 times things out there. You need to believe. If you don't go after it, it's never going to happen. And Mike's going, wait a minute. We've got to go through these hierarchy needs and understand it. And I can see both viewpoints, right? I can see both viewpoints. If you don't stretch your mind, if you don't believe, you will never get there. So you've got to believe. It's like the old adage that I talk about when somebody joins a multi-level marketing company. When they have me come in and speak, I'm like, look, if you're going to join this, you should do it. Like if you pay $100 a month for products, right? That's typically like an Amway or those companies that do multi-level marketing, Herbalife and that, right? The problem is it's so cheap that people quit. They don't treat it as a business. They don't treat it as $1 million business, so it never becomes one. Why? Because the investment's so low. If they had to put in $400,000 like a Subway, they'd be there every day working and putting the energy in. It's a psychological thing, right? That's the problem. But what we've got to do is we've got to be able to balance those two things. Like we've got to have a big, hairy, audacious goals, which Brian Tracy called them, or Grant Cardone says 10x, 10x. Go out there. If you don't believe, you can't achieve it. But we also got to look at what Mike's doing, Michalowicz, and understand that we've got to realize what the next step is important to you. And I think that's what's so important to me is I love the dreaming. We come to our events, we dream. But we also, when we're putting a plan together, it's not about realistic, even though I love that. It's more about what you are going to do to make a difference in your life. And when we step back to the ILD spreadsheet, that's where it all works. So it's one thing to try to hit home runs all the time. And when we start getting ILD, you'll understand this more and more. We've got to hit a few singles to get it going. And this is where I think the balance comes in, what I teach compared to a lot of this stuff. We got to get going first. And that's where the ILD comes in. Get your expenses under control and start creating the revenue. Hit some singles. And when you're doing that, or in football analogy, run some 2-yard, 3-yard runs. And when you get those 2-3-yard runs going, then you can throw the ball all the way down the field and try to make a Hail Mary touchdown. Too many people are throwing the ball down the field all day long. I got these big, hairy, audacious goals. I'm going to 10x, 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 10x. But they're not doing the fundamental things right. So it's a combination of all of that that's really critical. And that's why you've got to get present and understand, what do you really want to accomplish? And the first step in ILD is to get that residual and passive income to create that income that is going to cover the base expenses. So it's great to 10x something, but if you don't even have a 1x, then we got to start there, right? And so that's the concept of understanding the past. Okay, this is what I've done in the past. It's like I'm firing for home runs every time. Well, that's great, but are you hitting any singles? Are you doing some things that are fundamentally getting you there? That's the critical thing. And what is going to bring you happiness? Not somebody else, not Grant Cardone, not Mike Michalowicz, not J.B. Glossinger, not Wayne Dyer, rest in peace, right? What is going to bring you the peace and happiness and joy? And typically when we start to peel that onion back, you start to realize it's not about the material stuff. It's about the experiences that you want to have. And that's why it's so important that we recognize the past is gone. I can build on that. I can understand it. I can learn from it. The future is not here yet. It will come, but it's going to be this moment. And when I start to develop this mission, I want to shoot to the moon. Because what do they say? If you shoot to the moon, you might fall on the stars, or something like a shoot for the stars, you might hit the moon, whatever that is. But the truth is, from a very practical and metaphysical standpoint, we've got to be able to step back and recognize that life is about understanding what you are ready to accept as the next step in your belief, and the next step that you need that is going to create the energy and the life that you're looking for. That is what Get It Done Now is about, and that's what ILD is about. Without getting caught up in all the noise, it's understanding this moment and recognizing that this is the plan that I need to put in place. These are the things that I need to do that are going to make the real difference in my life. These are the things that the relationship issues, the spiritual issues, the health issues, the corporate business issues, the launching of idea issues that are going to make the biggest difference in my life. And these are the things that I need to start taking action on. And this is what I need help with. That's what you need to understand. So yes, the future is going to come. It's not real yet. It's going to come. Why do we even need to plan? Why not just live sex, drugs, and rock and roll and let whatever happen, happen? Because at the end of the day, that's like going down the stream without having a rudder. It may work, it may not. I like to take the chance out of life. And life still will have chances whether you plan or not. But when you start to get the plan in place, you're hedging your bets. And you're starting to organize your thoughts. And again, it needs to be about you, not anybody else. And the only way you're really going to know exactly what your next step is to get totally present in the moment and think about the mission. What are the things that you need to do? What do you want to accomplish in 2022? I don't even want to get ahead of it. What do you want to happen in 2022? That's what I want you to start thinking about now, So by Friday, you're ready to write that down. And that's going to be one of the foundational pieces. It is the foundational piece. Remember, our 4 pillars. We got to get clear about what we want. We got to realize where we are. We got to get options together to be able to accomplish that. Take it from where we are to where we're going to go. And then the 4th pillar is to work the plan. That's what we're here to do. Okay? So let's get it ready. It's going to be a great week. The energy is off the charts. Let's make it happen and let's do it to it. I love you. Get out there. Have a fantastic day. It is going to be a fantastic week. We're getting ready for a fantastic month, and it is going to be the best 2022, and we're going to have the best year ever. I'm telling you, it's going to be great, but you got to work with me here. Okay, I love you. Go have a great one, and I will see you tomorrow right here on morningcoach.com.